Divine Spirit and gracious Creator, we're all here to open ourselves up unconditionally to your divine assistance and continued direction. As well as receiving your healing and guidance, we are fully open and ready to receive and notice signs and blessings. We are truly grateful and thank you. Amen. Please settle your minds and focus on your crown chakra. And when you are ready, open it for Spirit to supply you with its source of energy. As it enters your crown chakra, allow it to rebalance all your chakras, starting with the crown, moving on to the brow, down to the throat chakra, and then onto the heart chakra. Working its way down to the solar plexus chakra, further down to the sacral chakra, and then down to your root chakra. Allow the spirit energy source to visit all your minor chakras to maximize our potential in this circle. Let the energy settle in your body, and when you are ready, move your focus back to your heart chakra and start linking with all other members of this circle unconditionally. Set your intentions on the task we agree, please, to maximize our ability to make the links to spirit that we need to achieve. We've come together on the earth plane with the purpose of receiving answers to our questions from our spirit guides and advisors that are happy to link with us. I would like to start by introducing members of our circle here tonight. My name is Neil, and with me today is Donna, Pam, Sharon, Sarah, and Adrian. I would like to welcome all members of the Spirit Circle and thank you so much for believing in us. As we try to lift our energy levels sufficiently to enable you to bridge and make contact through our mediums, we are focusing and offering you the opportunity to link through us. Please link directly through your choice of medium. And if you are happy to link through another medium at the same time as another soul from Spirit does, please do so. Where possible, we'd respectfully appreciate confirmation that we have achieved a successful link through either a sense of doing so or even more grateful to hear the spoken word itself. As we try to lift our energy levels in our own circle and with the help of our own guides and others in spirit, we look forward to making the connection to the spirit circle. When we have achieved that, could you confirm when you are ready for questions to be put to you, please? Focus on the flame of the fire and connect your left hand to the next person's right and link up to combine a circle around the flame.
Please take some deep breaths and release the day's tensions. If you hear a slight buzz or ringing in your ear, very dimly, you have a link. If you wish to speak, you may speak. You may be given a name or the urge to say a word. You feel a pressure around the third eye area. Do not worry, this is just being realigned. You will have a spirit animal with you this evening, each and every one of you. You should be able to see and connect with this. If you cannot see it, you will know what animal you have with you this evening. My name is Thomas, and I will be your guide for this evening.
A very warm welcome, Thomas. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. And I have come in differently than others normally do, but I felt it was be nice to come in a different way.
Thank you. Straightforward. I like that. Okay. Have you blended with Adrian now enough, Thomas?
Yes, the group is blended. Lovely this evening.
Good. Okay. Thomas, before I'm assuming you are a member of the Spirit Circle and you've followed what we do.
Yes, I am reasonably new to this. I have seen the circle before. I've been announced.
Okay. So are you one of our spirit guides and teams, or are you someone that helps everyone out?
I am one of the guides.
Okay.
I would leave it at that for the moment.
That's lovely. Thank you. Before I move on to our list of questions, which is how we normally work, is there anything that needs to be said to us collectively or individually here today?
The only thing I would notice is when I first allotted with you all this evening, just to remember to release the tension. I feel that some of you feel it's gone when you've come back from work or had a bad day. All I would say is just remember to take a few deep breaths at any point in your daytime. It will relieve the pressure from feeling stressed throughout the whole day if you release it through the day. I'm hoping as well that maybe at the end of your questions and answers for you, Neil, that the others will share with you maybe what spirit animal they have with them this evening.
Okay, that's a good point. I will make
or even if they were feeling maybe a bit anxious, but they did have a word or a name in their head that they wish to share.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'll make a point.
I would also say that if anybody does wish to step in or say a word, or please do so. If you don't mind, of course, Neil.
I don't mind at all, thank you. And thank you for those words of encouragement, which, hopefully the others will pick up on. Okay. So for the moment, I'll start if that's okay with you.
That's fine.
A question, Thomas, I've been asked to raise for someone here is, why is it that people who go through trauma are more connected to spirit?
The answer is actually within the question, Neil. It is because they have gone through trauma and hardship. It is an unusual thing, but it has happened throughout time that those that have more troubled or more hardships or more experiences, shall we say, through their lives that some do not, are always close with spirit. I do not know whether this was in the design of when God, the Creator, decided to do this. And some people tend to get close only when something happens. the awakening as well. People may not have any interest in spirit or anything for quite a long period of their time. And it will be an experience that will be deep, that will awaken them.
Is it because in many situations, serious situations, it becomes a cry for help?
I think on a level it does. But as well, for those that work with spirit, not all do, some are close with spirit, but do not work with spirit to help others. It gives them understanding. Again, it's an experience that can help them when working with others or helping heal. It brings in a connection within the alignment. There are children that work with spirit and see spirit, but I think this is when sometimes there has been a part of their previous life that's not been fully closed off for them to start their new life.
Okay.
In that innocence in young children that you see that may feel that they're talking to themselves or have imaginary friends.
Yep. Is that another reason why sometimes children can appear more advanced than their years in terms of their intellect?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Some are seen as old souls, but I do think sometimes there's maybe a link that's been left open, maybe for a reason, or maybe the transitions didn't quite go to fully plan. But then what is planned properly, there is always something is always happens for a reason, doesn't it? Good or bad.
Yeah, it seems to. Yeah. I mean, to what degree are our human lives preordained, pre-planned?
In personal experience, I'd say it's 75 to 80% is pre-planned.
Okay.
But don't forget, when you choose your life, you can already see how it pans out in the main course. It's almost like reading a book or watching those films or those
But
television programs that you watch. They're like stories that have already been written.
But presumably certain things are held back for souls to experience whatever they particularly chosen to come and experience.
Yes, it is like those,
If that makes sense.
fill the gap sentences, or however you wish to put it, where the main bit's there, but you need to fill in the other areas.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose if everything went 100% to plan, a benefit would be lost.
Nothing would be learned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thomas, I never asked you, have you actually had a life on the earth plane? Or many?
Yes, I've had quite a few.
Is there a specific one that would warrant you explaining your highs and lows and maybe what you achieved during that life, or what you felt you achieved during that life?
There are so many that I could pick from. But the one that I seem to be drawn to is with my name Thomas. I say it's Thomas. In other lives, it's been Thomas.
Okay.
It seems to follow me in many different forms, but the underlying name is Thomas, I suppose. There was a particular lifetime that we would call it Poland. In times gone past, it was Germania.
All right. Okay.
It was a bigger area then where I lived. We were quite a ruthless people. The times when the Roman Empire was expanding, making everybody their slaves and taking them in. I seem to be drawn to explaining this to you, that as much as it's not necessarily countries at the moment in the world that are expanding and spreading, I think it's more attitude within the human population currently that in some ways is very much the same. It's a lack of respect for others, a lack of respect for themselves in some cases. And speaking from experience, it was very much the same in terms of people. It was very raw, very aggressive. But people evolve, times change. It seems to be that there is almost a circle heading back, but in modern ways of living those same attitudes. Where people think they can just take what they want without a consequence. A sort of a follow my leader, but also do as you want to do as well, with little regard. And I think too many people are frightened of actually standing up for themselves. And I think more people should have more self-belief in themselves. That's maybe standing up to one that you see maybe a bully or somebody being manipulative.
Yeah.
Or a narcissist, that seems to be the word of the moment.
Yeah, it
going
does.
around. To just stand up to these people, stand up for your rights and your belief. I think you'll be shocked. It doesn't have to be aggressive, but stand your ground is what I wish to tell you.
Is that a lesson that the current situation is really waking us up to?
Yes, I think so. I think it's to show all those that are feeling timid, maybe shy. You do not need to be this way. You do not need to be angry and forceful, but just to stand your ground and say no when you want to say no, yes when you want to say yes.
Okay.
Say what's on your mind. Do not withhold with what is in. It is better out than in, because it only harms you in the long term. In the short term, it might just upset somebody else, but in the long term, it is you that carries the pain, wishing you'd said something when you didn't.
Thomas, in our national societies, why do so few individuals have so much control over the living conditions of the majority? How come we've got ourselves into that situation, or has it always been that way?
I think it has always been that way. There will always be those that stand to lead, but with their own goals in mind. But it is, as I have said, it is those that withhold their thoughts that need to stand together to remove these people. I do not mean being in a horrible way, but they just need to be removed because they're not doing their job properly.
Yeah.
They say they've been voted in. They say that they're, a leader of the people. These are just leaders of themselves. This goes for both parties, the left, the right, whichever country you're in. There's always two sides.
Yeah, I agree.
It is time not to have two sides. It is time to pick individuals to represent people from areas with one goal in mind: equality. There does not need to be this massive divide in rich and poor in any means of those words, monetary or physically. When you look at, they say money is just a number. It needs to become more meaningful. It used to have meaning when you had something valuable. People seem to have lost not having something valuable. Everything is always tossed to the side.
Yeah.
It's broken. Nobody wants to fix it. It's just replace it. I think the world needs to fix more things rather than replace things.
Why isn't it the responsibility of spirit to keep our ruling elites in check? Because so many of them, using your words that you used, are disrespectful to the people they're there to represent. Or is that our learning curve that we've got to decide that's important enough for us to speak out?
Yes, I think it is that. But also, as the years go, the humans, vessels, civilizations progress. The human brain is evolving. Things are more complicated now than they once were. It is harder for the soul on the journey to have influence. So whereas you see it that within spirit we could do more, yes, we used to be able to, because there was less expectation,
Yeah.
and more free living. Whereas now there is a lot of expectation, a lot of following. It is not all bad with how things are going. But I think things do need to change.
I'm sure they will, but it just seems to be taking such a long time. Excuse me.
Yes, but when you're in spirit, it doesn't, the time thing, you don't see it so much. You just see, how can I put this? You see things happen, but it feels like it is just an event, something that is just progressing. 100 of your years is just 100 of your years. It is just a time period.
Yeah.
But when things are not going so well, it always feels slower, like when you're having a long day. You're looking for something to hurry it up, to make it better quickly.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see how you see that. Is in spirit, is life on the earth plane viewed as a continuous living vessel experience? You know, is it just observing us?
How can I explain? We all have our roles and our parts to play. So if we are living a life, human life, it is the same as you. If we are guiding, it is slightly different because we can maybe be guiding more than one. So we can move between the two times, or still be doing what we wish to do in spirit as well as being around.
Okay.
I wanted to give an example of those that have just passed. So they will be reflecting on the life that they've just had. I feel this is quite relevant this evening as well for some.
Okay, thank you.
They will be missing their loved ones, but they will also be reflecting on what's to come. There will be a peace because of, as we all know, everything is always, time is always of the essence on earth. Everything seems to be a rush and rushing around. So it will take them time to settle in, to realize that that's no longer the case. For some, they would be eager maybe to go back, and others, they might just take time to sit and observe and be around, discussing with their other family members or their tribes, their family, close family groups within spirit, discussing where they can help going forward. And trying to direct that when their time comes to reconnect or pass their messages on. They will be free from all their pains of their bodies. They will just be a memory. There will be a memory of experience and not of bad taste, should we say. Sorry if I've gone a bit off track there, but I felt those words needed to be said.
No, I think I'm on the same wavelength as you. I think they're very helpful for people in this circle and for other people that might watch the recording.
Yes.
Are many human souls due to lose their lives here to reduce the numbers, be it through war or illnesses? You know, is that a mechanism to bring balance back that spirit will use?
I don't know whether this would be spirit or Mother Earth.
Okay.
Which I feel she's spirit in nature. We say she is because of the feminine energy, not necessarily physical form.
Yeah.
But there always has to be balance, and some balance is done, but it's not done maybe necessarily as you would see it right in a human way. But those things were written in the days of the beginning, and I don't think that will ever change.
Okay, thank you.
But it is like anything. You cannot buy a one-bedroom house and have 30 people living in it.
That's a good analogy. I like that one. Yeah.
Some people, something has to give somewhere.
Do other planets have their own Mother Earth equivalent, or does she manage them all? Spiritually, does she manage them all?
No, they all have their own equivalent.
Yeah.
There is one creator, but it is almost like your pyramids.
Yeah.
There will be one at the top and then go down with their assistants below.
So spiritually, is that how we're all created?
I would say yes. I have said these words and not really thought about the philosophy side before it. Thank you, Neil, for that. But yes, I would say it is very much like that.
You made me think like that just from your words. In a human...
Yes, a lot of life is...
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting, Neil.
No, you can finish if you like. I can pick up in a
No, I
minute.
was just going to say it seems to be that is another pattern
Yeah,
that
it's another
people
way.
may not see.
It's another way to maybe grasp, the picture of the whole scenario. Okay. Within the human vessel, what's the purpose of us having a shadow self and a higher self? We always endeavor to deal with the shadow self. But why was that designed into the human vessel? Or wasn't it?
Again, I think this is part of I think this is part of just the learning of what is meant to be to experience that. You can see that there always needs to be two sides to anything really, or more, but I think it is just two. I think if there was only one side to something, things would just happen too quickly because it would just flow, but it would only be in one direction. There'd be no stopping and starting. There would be no reflection on anything. There'd be no appreciation for what has come before that's made you take a different approach to something. It sounds like a very sort of simple answer that anybody could answer, but I truthfully think that this is why it is that way. And just some people, unfortunately, there's fortunate for some, but unfortunate for others, that sometimes there is an imbalance there. It is not always 50-50 in a lifetime. For some, it is more unfortunate that what they have to go through outweighs the good times or the good memories.
But presumably,
yeah.
Sorry.
No, what was you going to say, Neil?
But presumably, in some situations, not all necessarily, the spirit chose to come and experience those unfortunate situations to understand them more. Is that right?
Yes. And I think this is almost like the first question about why is it those that seem to have more troubled lives are closer to spirit.
Yeah.
And I think it is those troubles that I think people, if they could recognize them, would then realize this may be part of their journey to overcome that experience that they have not had in other lives. Or they may have had in another life, but maybe as the opposite sex to what they are.
Yeah.
To see it from another point of view. This is why I think as well there is your male and your female. Because as we know, there are lives or life forms that do not need necessarily to have two sexes to reproduce, to carry on to carry on.
Yeah.
I think it is just to see those experiences from both sides of things as well as good and bad. It's from another point of view.
Presumably, some spirits will accept the role or the changed role in another life as a form of a karmic reaction to understand any prejudices they might have previously developed.
Yes, as well, this could be the case.
Yeah.
To overcome if they have acted in a particular way.
Yeah.
That they come back and see what it's like on the other side of the coin, shall we say.
Yeah. I know it's very hard to justify that to human souls here on the earth plane. But I've always wondered that. But presumably, if only 70 to 80% of the life is sort of predetermined, the balance, the other 30%, can change the outcome of the life itself as planned.
Yes, it can.
Yeah, okay.
Just one small action can make a big change.
And presumably that's when, as guides and teachers, roles kick in from spirit. That's where they have to try and bring the spirit's life plan back on track, or help.
Yes, to try and redirect.
Yeah, okay.
To try and almost send out a message to remember what you needed to do.
I have to acknowledge that, because there are situations in life where you move in one direction and you might end up back in your original direction through no apparent planning of your own.
Yes, this is true.
It's not that simple, but that's what I meant. But you can't explain to yourself sometimes why you went off track anyway. Okay. Why do so many of us as humans need to apportion blame? It's a common trait to look for someone else to blame for the situation we find ourselves in, instead of just dealing with it.
This is becoming more and more a more modern feature.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to expect, again, they know it's a lack of respect. Nobody just wants to accept what they've done. And others want somebody else to blame because they don't want to deal with it. They put themselves in positions of authority, but ultimately just look for the other to blame somebody else so that it's not at their door, instead of actually saying, let's get to, but nobody wants to just get to the bottom of issues. It's just to blame things on people all the time. Instead of looking at just what happened and maybe learn from that.
I mean, so many
things people.
Go on, sorry.
You know, some actions are of those that meant to do something, and others are just simple acts of innocence that just is a small mistake or misjudgment.
I mean, some of them are self-inflicted, aren't they? Really, when you analyse it.
Yes, but others just, you know, they just want to help those that maybe did something that shouldn't have done, or there's too much of the, like you say, the blame game. It's need to look out for one another and help, teach them, show them, guide them.
Why do so many humans have trouble turning negatives back into positives? But what do you think the root cause of that is? Because there seems to be so many that are dealing with that problem.
Again, this is because of, I think it is just wanting what others have. Money's become a big thing. You need to do sometimes just look at those that have very little and see that they can still laugh and have fun,
Yeah.
even with very little. And just imagine that you could be that person looking at what you've got and try to realize what you have got in front of you. Unfortunately, this is another thing. But when they get these things, they do not, when they do get what they want, it's not necessarily what they need.
Yeah.
But then they just want the next thing along once they've got that. It's never ending.
Is anything actually free in life, or is it always on loan? I've always believed it's on loan, but many people don't see that.
Yeah. There are many things for free. The air that you breathe, the love which you give and receive, friendship, family, the things that you can do, your movement, the smells, the seeing, the hearing. It sounds funny to say those things, but they're probably one of the most richest, most valuable things that you'll ever earn. Is what is within you, is you. It is not what you sit on or what you wear, it is you.
I think that's a very profound statement, and it's something is well worth reminding us of. Thank you. But why do so many human souls feel the need to own things? Or is it purely down to their life conditioning at the time?
It is just conditioning.
Yeah.
From what their parents have had or their guardians and those before them. There's a lot gone on in the last 150 of your years. From what people have to what people had to what you have now.
Yeah.
The houses you live in, the technology you have, the longer lives you have, the security. You ask anybody if they'd like to go back 100 years and live, or 150 years. There's not many people that would survive it in their mind of today. But if they let themselves go free and actually try to live it, I think they would enjoy it more than they would realise.
Mm.
They'd appreciate things better.
When spirit pass and return back to their spiritual home and review their lives, do they come to recognise that in the main?
Yes, they do. We do.
Yeah.
We sit there and trying to think of the word. You'd almost scold yourself when you get the memories from other lives you've led.
Yeah.
from your last one. You bring away an awful lot from our lives. I know this sounds quite heavy this evening, and with other evenings that things seem to be negative, but there are a lot of positives.
Yeah.
We do come away with a lot of learning. Positives you also get is you get to meet an awful lot more people than you used to.
Yeah.
More of your like-minded people, and the chances of bumping into your soul tribe is also smaller. So you get to maybe meet them. Whereas unless you came into that life helping one another with a lifetime,
Yeah.
you never got to meet them. Now you are able to recognize them, maybe not in the physical form, but over your internet. You know when you feel that you've met that person before, or there's something that seems a bit close connections.
I have to admit that when we all met one another over our internet connections, a great deal of us have felt that connection.
An ease, a bond.
Mm.
Just a link that you can't explain.
You can't justify it, you can't explain it, but yet we all have a natural affinity with one another. Yes, we're all different. So, and many of us have remarked about that. And
it is more of a family than a group, I would say.
Yeah, agreed. There's no logic associated with it. It's just a feeling. Why are there so many human souls who struggle to overcome their sadness or coping with their illnesses, whereas there are a small minority who suffer in exactly the same way, and on the face of it, they still manage to have a happy life? You know, why is it so variable?
I do not know why it is so variable, but what I do know is this is one of the biggest lessons to overcome
Okay.
when taking a life. And I feel that there has been a lot of spirit that are trying to master this lesson. And the problem is, it is like picking the hardest thing to do. And everybody's come back to pick it. And I think this is why the earth at the minute is in this turmoil it is in. Because so many people are in this depressed state.
Yeah.
Whether in the physical manner or mentally.
Yeah, I meant both.
Yes, I understand. But it is both. It is a massive lesson. It is almost like your final exam to overcome this one. To go through hardship, but go through it with positivity.
Why does it take so many human souls so long in their lives to realize their life's purpose? In some cases, I'm sure some of them don't before they pass.
I think they get blindsided by what goes on around them. They lose sight of their own life to try and live the same as others.
Okay.
Forgetting that you are an individual. You ask anybody that comes back and has a review, it is one of the biggest things that they will say. Why did I start to want what others want what others had? Why was I led to like what my parents told me to like and dislike opinions that are forced and pushed upon us? I think this is what it is.
When they return from that life, then, are they acknowledging the benefit of what they had to endure?
Yes.
Okay.
Some struggle with it more than others. In terms of whether they completed their task,
Yeah.
whether they did not. If they did not complete their task, but they learnt other things on the way, then it was not a failure, but it was still a positive,
Yeah.
and still moving forward. This is what I think quite a lot of people need to remember. If you set a goal and you did not complete it, what did you learn from it? You will have learned something from it that you maybe not went to set out to learn.
Do any spirits ever move backwards?
How do you mean, Neil? Do you mean some that progress on further, that then suddenly decide they want to take a life again?
No, it's like when they review their life. I mean, they may have been allowed to come back with certain attitudes, maybe with negativity, and they've come back even more negative. Not so much about coming back for another life, and I think I understand that.
The negativity will ultimately go.
I suppose what I'm trying to say is I usually get into trouble with Spirit Thomas when I use certain words, and I don't mean that, but do they ever come back and feel they failed in their purpose for that life?
Yes, they sometimes do.
Okay.
Because they're still carrying that life with them. So it takes a while for them to get over it. When you come back, you do not suddenly just lose your human side in that sense.
Yeah.
It takes a while for it to blend. It is, how can I put it? It is, you will always be Neil, but there will be that part of you within another, with others.
Yeah.
It's very it sounds complicated for a human to understand this, but when you're back in spirit, it doesn't matter. It is like you are you, but all these things and all these people and all these experiences are still you, and you can access these things at all times while still taking on more.
Okay.
I think you will enjoy it when it is your time. So many answers to your questions will be answered probably within the first of your 10 minutes.
I mean, there are obviously some things I say to myself, I can't know the answer to that now. I'll get it when it's my time. So that's how I deal with it. So.
And then when there are circles running just like this one, you can come back and be on the other side of it,
Yeah,
and answer those questions.
Well, you'd know I'd enjoy that, wouldn't I? That's the way I'm made, I think. Okay, thank you. You know me too well. In spirit life, Thomas, although we've been told no one spirit identity is any better than another, is there a hierarchical structure which is designed to manage the spirit community? You know, to keep it working in the way that it's designed? Or am I being too...
Yes, it is like the...
Okay.
No, it is like the pyramid things.
Yeah.
Yes, we see each other as an equal, but there is a respect for those that are older, wiser. Sometimes they can be wise without being old, but yes, there is a respect, and there has to be some sort of hierarchy, or with anything that goes. Otherwise, it would just be a free for all and stuff. But it is just not it's not the same as how a human would see it. Not at all.
No, I agree. But I've always felt that, but at times I feel like I'm in a minority. So, and I don't see that in any disrespectful way. I never have done. So, now I've been told previously that angels are just spirits. Okay. So are those religious identities used to draw the attention, particularly of current human souls who are focused on their earth plane religious beliefs, that they're used in such a way to influence and, I suppose, extend their life, their views of life in spirit?
Yes, you are right.
Okay.
It is a form that many will understand and see and accept, a human with wings, in colour, with a glow. It is one of those things. Birds always fascinate people, and they've been on the planet for billions of years, but it is something that I do not believe that there are many on the planet that would discount the structure of an angel as you would perceive.
Yeah. I mean, I don't view it as a negative, because if it brings comfort and help and guidance, you know, to human souls, it has to be welcomed. That
it is a beautiful form to see.
Yeah. At the moment, why don't enough people live and let live at this time? There used to be more of that attitude earlier in my life? Is it down to selfishness?
I think it's down to more the structure, to be honest, of how
Okay.
the countries are being ruled.
Okay.
I think there's too many constraints on certain things.
All right.
Too many things that what you can say and what you can't say. What you can do and what you can't do. It gets more and more controlled. The kids do not go out and play like you played or your parents played.
Yeah.
In some of my lives as a child, playing was not really a thing. It was more about survival. But yes, you had fun.
Okay.
You chased after animals. You chased birds. Just ran around. There wasn't toys in some of my lives. You just had to pick up something and do something with it as a child. But the children today do not have this. Too frightened. Their parents are too frightened to let them go out. People in the cars do not have respect when they're driving in the more areas where in the old days kids would just run around. They do not seem to want to slow down anywhere in case there are children or elderly people around. It's back to that word of respect again, I think.
And I think maybe a loss of responsibilities from parents, because if they show their fear to a child, the child will inherit that fear.
Yes, I think that is a very valid point there.
Yeah. So although the parent is doing it to protect the child, it's having an adverse effect. Okay, thank you. Change tact a little bit now. Will the human race ever colonize the moon?
No.
Okay.
There'd be no point on the moon. Not to the point of people just living there.
Yeah.
I would say that there might be what you might call a space station.
Okay. Yep.
Or a scientific
Yeah.
Exploration.
A similar sort of question, but for Mars. Is Mars a dead planet now and past its sell-by date, or will that ever be colonized? I understand there's been life there before and it's disappeared. Or humanoid life.
Had its day.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything stopping it providing life in one shape or another in the future.
Yeah. What's the purpose of time as a mechanism on the Earth plane? Or is it a ticking time bomb?
It is more to do with work these days than anything else.
Okay.
Back in the days, it was just another cycle of the moon and the sun. The seasons. Getting older and living your life. Then as time, I suppose, as you say, comes along, you get your clocks and that, and then everything is managed to the clock. Specific bedtimes, eating times, just becomes, everything becomes a routine with time.
Will it ever disappear from the earth plane?
No. I think it might change in how the outlook of it becomes, but
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, it's gone so far now that on the earth it will remain. I think the only time it would change is if when space travel come into it.
Okay.
It would just be you are on your destination to somewhere. I don't think people would look in at how many seconds and minutes it took to get somewhere.
Yeah.
In the early days.
I mean, you may not be able to answer this question, but we'll see. What is the next major discovery that will be found on the earth plane to help us all here, or help the majority? How will it be discovered, and when will it be discovered?
Well, there are several things. I will say that the next big discovery again will come from the sands, I'm going to say. I would say within the next few years. And if we can stop these people from hiding what is already found,
Okay, yeah,
I
it's been
think that
mentioned
would be
before.
very profound.
Okay.
I do not need to see. I do not see why these people feel they need to hide these things. The Earth's past is the past. These things are not here now. There is no harm that can come from it. People's beliefs are not the same as they once were. I feel for some of these people that keep these secrets. They are just harming themselves. And it is not letting the evolution move as it should do.
Are those people doing it to try and ensure they don't lose their followers?
I think they just see it as a power of something to keep
That's what I meant.
secret. And
That's what I meant.
yes, it is. They have the money and they have the power. But it doesn't mean to say that just by telling others of these fascinating secrets that should be out there for the match, from anybody that wishes to know them, to see them or hear about them. It's not going to stop these people. They're in their position they are in now.
But could
Just
they?
releasing the information is not going to.
Yeah, but couldn't they feel by releasing the information it would, I don't know, contradict the significance of some of the beliefs that their followers believe in, if that makes sense?
Well, yes, it could. But
Because,
everything has to move forward.
well, I agree with you fully, but I try and understand why those in control of our belief systems, if you like, want to block things like that. That's the piece of information I don't understand. Okay. how long when a human soul passes and goes back to spirit, and on average, who carries back, let's say, some negative influences that they've got to get help with releasing them from, how long does it take them to overcome those so that they can get back to their development life in spirit?
The thing is, in when this happens, there is no time limit put on it.
Okay.
I suppose it's only a time limit that you would put on yourself if you
Yeah.
wanted to rush back for another life.
Oh, okay.
If you had planned to come straight back, or within, say, a year of, Earth time,
Yeah.
or months. But sometimes this may take a change because, like you say, you need to process these things and find a way through it, so as not to relive the same experience again without knowing where you need to make that change. For somebody that's comes and goes quite a lot, it could just be days or weeks. If it is something that is fairly drastic, it could be centuries of your time.
Okay.
I really couldn't narrow it to a point. It is completely on an individual thing, to be honest.
Is that a minority of souls that find themselves in that position, or is it large numbers?
I would say it'd be, for the longer times, a certain minority.
Yeah.
Probably a handful through an average person's lifetime.
Okay.
For the smaller things, from a spirit's point of view, of certain things you need to do, you wish to learn, could be just months, maybe a couple of your years,
Okay.
all depending on what it is what your target was set, or your goal that you had.
Yeah. In some scenarios, then, if a soul chose a life and ended up, let's say, getting distracted and abused another human soul here and then passed back to spirit, how important is it for them to get their apology message, albeit through mediums, back to the recipient who might still be living? Does that help their recovery?
If it is that they were the victim and they come into spirit, this can take a while to heal.
Yeah.
If they was the woes as the aggressor, they're encouraged to acknowledge what they've done, and with help and assistance, try to pass the message back of their wrong behavior, their bad doing,
Yeah.
but you can't force them to do this if they do not accept it. sometimes when these people pass and people look to them for an apology, they might never get it in their lifetime if it is something that is not seen correct from the other side. It might be that they'd have to wait for that person to pass for it to be dealt with in spirit.
So when the victim actually passes in spirit, is that when they could come to realize, let's just say, why it happened?
Yes.
Okay. Because I have to acknowledge that I've seen a lot of people carrying that trauma around with them in their lives, albeit pushed to the bottom of their memory bank.
Yes, it is
Yeah. Okay.
something that is, I'm going to say, being looked into,
Okay.
but this is something that's been around from the beginning, but we are thinking that we need to change our ways
Okay.
in spirit. To help move things along, shall we say.
Okay. Thank you. I know there's many souls here on the earth plane that struggle with understanding why they had to suffer. Okay. Is global warming actually a natural phenomenon or a root cause
Yes,
of
it
humans'
can be
ignorance and
changed.
greed? Are we overreacting to it?
Yes. The earth has cycles. It's been doing it for billions of years. Yes, humans do have an influence on. It's a little bit like anything.
Yeah.
You start doing stuff that's not normal, it's going to make things slightly different. But all in all, it is just another cycle. Just another way of greed. The only good thing that comes upon it from it is you do need to replenish and restore the areas that you have destroyed or
Yeah.
trying to think of other words, but yes. If you take some trees down, plant some more. I think that's the easiest thing to say.
Yeah. Will there ever become a time on the earth plane where all human life is created in test tubes?
No, this would be pointless in the way that human evolution, there would be no benefit from that.
Okay.
One from the human side of it, or from spirit linking with humans for involvement and journeys and learning.
Who keeps the eyes or equivalent on spirit in spirit?
That would be spirit.
You mean top of the pyramid?
Yes. And then you're going to say, who looks after them?
You know I've always said that, so there you go.
I've always said that myself.
Maybe I'll find out one day, I don't know.
It is like going in one of those corridors where you open a door and you come out in another door, but in the same corridor.
Yeah. Will eating too much fast food, as we call it, bring our passing closer?
Yes,
Why?
because it's processed.
Okay.
Healthy eating, healthy exercise. Everything in moderation. Eating these fast foods with their sugars and their salts is not good, especially without if you're not exercising and drinking plenty of water. Sorry if that sounded a bit blunt, but
No. Needs to be sometimes, doesn't it? A play on words. Why does food give us thought?
I like this one. Food for thought. I think this is just a basic need from the beginning. To survive, you need food. To get food, you need to think. So it is thought that is necessary to get the food. But then you need the food to keep your mind alive, to think. I give you food for thought on that one, Neil.
There you go. Gone round in a circle, yeah. Can we
Back in
overthink
that
things?
corridor.
Yeah, can we overthink things?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Overthinking is good for a while. But when it gets to the point it makes you tired or starts changing your mind into negative ways, it is time to give that idea up.
Okay.
Ask for help.
Is the duality of the human and higher level spirit and soulmates designed to bring harmony into either both our physical and spiritual lives?
Yes, one of the life's purpose for both spirit and human is to align and enjoy that. This is another one of those top drawer, as you would say, lessons. Trying to align whilst in the human life. To get into the flow.
Why do some human souls have a problem with silence?
Because they're overthinking.
Okay.
It might be something to do from earlier in their life, a conditioning or something like this, but it could be just people are just so used to being on the go that they don't wish to be with themselves.
Okay, that's different. Yeah.
I suppose. Or they find it that they start to sit with others in silence. And how can I put this? Find it difficult sitting in the energies of others when they're being silent. I don't know how to describe that. You start picking up feelings from others while sitting in the silence. And maybe that could upset you. So while you're talking, it takes your mind off the feeling that you might be getting from the others.
It's a distraction. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
We live in a world at the moment where there are a lot of celebrities, but what's positive about being a celebrity? What should they be doing? What should they be focusing on?
Inspiring others. If you get to be in the public eye or well known, yes, be yourself, but you've put yourself into this position for a reason. Some maybe it be money again, but others it might be a love of what they do, and this brings peace for others. But yes, if you are in this position, it is just to inspire others, to teach, to show. I hope that answers that for you, okay, Neil?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
I feel my energy is on the weaker side now, so I think it is time I take my leave.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. I've really enjoyed talking to you tonight.
Thank you for inviting me into your wonderful circle. And I thank Ethos as well for inviting me to come through this evening. He sends his regards.
As I do back with you to him.
He was also thinking of having an evening with you himself coming through tonight, but something made him change his mind.
Okay, no problem. I look forward to that. When it will be, as they say.
Yes. The guidance that we give you all tonight is remember to release the tensions and then try and enjoy every moment that gives you the opportunity to laugh. Don't be afraid to have a laugh. And on that note, I will leave you with the universe's love and the love of your families.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Bye for now. Time for us now to finish today's question and answer session. We would like to thank Spirit for being here to guide us and working directly with us. That includes our personal guides and 4 the additional advisors that have joined us here today to give us the benefit of their wisdom. Once again, thank you for your continued support, which we do all fully appreciate and value. We look forward to linking up again with you next time. Before we close the link, we hope you don't mind us spending a few minutes of our time exploring our personal direct links with Spirit. 2 to 3 minutes, everyone, before I call you back into the room. Time now to refocus on your crown chakras, please. As and when you have, close it down to break your link with Spirit. Move any residual energy you don't need down from your crown chakra to your brow chakra, onto your throat chakra, then to your heart chakra. Take it further down to your solar plexus chakra, onto your sacral chakra, and then to your root chakra. Allow this surplus energy to move down through your legs and body to your feet and ground yourself on Mother Earth, please. When you are sufficiently grounded and in your own time, gently and slowly bring your attention back into the room. As usual, as Pam comes to, we just see if she has anything that she needs to pass over to us, please.
Thank you, Neil. Okay, and I was actually shown an actor that I remember from an old black and white film, and what they were trying to say is that don't always accept things as when you first see or hear them, and they were showing me that the actor, and that was not a real cowboy. He was an actor, and that's the main thing that they want to get over. And that we must start to question things, and that we hear and that we see. We need to check all our facts first before making a decision, and listen to all sides of any discussion or argument before making any decisions. And that don't follow everybody else, and that because not everything is as it appears, and also they want us to be thankful for what we've got. And that now they also say, please start being kind to yourselves and be kind to others, and that help your neighbour, be more tolerant, and most of all, enjoy your life and be happy. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you, Pam. Just before I stop the recordings, when we first started, Spirit did comment and say, spirit animals have joined us in this circle. And I was to ask everyone whether they visualized a particular animal. Now, I saw a lioness. A lioness joined me. Does anyone else have any such visualization they can remember?
I had a wolf.
Thank you.
I didn't visualize anything, but badger popped into my head.
Well, that's equivalent, Sharon. You know, you popped into your head. I don't see things, I just knew. Okay, thank you.
I saw an otter.
Right, thank you. I'm pleased you've done that, because Spirit actually asked me for their reasoning to make sure we had a discussion. On that note, everyone, I'll say goodbye to all our viewers and see you again another time. Thank you.